Joe is doing a project from the Effective Coaching Path. And this particular project is introduction to vocal variety and body language. Now tonight, Joe hopes that once you've heard his speech, you're going to ask yourself the same question that is the title of his speech, which is, why am I like this? And if you decide you see something in yourself that you don't like, he hopes that you will take the tools that he's going to give you tonight and transform yourself into someone that you will like a little better. With his speech titled, Why Am I Like This? Please welcome Mr. Joe Tudor Jr.
Hello everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Why am I like this? It's a question that I found myself asking. And I want to know, is anyone else asking themselves the same question, or is it only me? Okay, great, not alone. So, what me asking myself this question led me to do was go down this rabbit hole of all the things in which I thought I knew. And it also led me to a YouTube documentary entitled Century of Self. Has anybody ever heard of it? Okay, well, I'm going to give you a synopsis of it today, but I really strongly encourage you to watch it. So what happens is, the documentary talks about how they used, how propaganda worked during World War II. And from that, they realized that the propaganda that they used was able to update us on the war in itself, and it also caused the end to the war based upon the narrative that they put out to the public. So as a guy who noticed, like, hey, propaganda works, it's a bad word, I'm not going to use propaganda, I'm going to use something called consulting. And he took the whole method of the propaganda during World War II and called it consulting, and created this whole narrative in which we know today as marketing. And it got me to asking myself, do I really like what I think I like, or is it me liking things because I was told to like them? And I realized that my philosophy of who I am is all categorized under a few different things, whether it is my environment I grew up in, my parents' worldview, what I hear on the radio, and what I see on TV. So I'm like, do I really like these shoes? Do I really like these clothes? Do I really even like the car that I drive? You know, am I only doing these things to appease me, or am I doing it to appease others, right? So I got to a point now where I decide the clothes that I wear is going to have a message in which that it represents me, and I'm not just buying things that's popular because that's what the masses are doing. And I also realized that you have the right to change. I often say, if you change your mind, you change your life, and it's 100% true. If you change your philosophy on what you think to be so, it will allow you to expand your mind into other regions. And the way I do this is I adopted the mindset of, I do not know everything. And even though I feel like I know a lot, you know, and that I understand there's still room for me to grow. And in me not knowing everything, it allows me to hear and receive what others have to tell me. I don't always have the opportunity to take what everyone's telling me and dissect it at that very moment, but I take a lot of mental and physical notes so that when I do go home, I can dissect and take the meat and leave the bones. And I also understood that I could be wrong. And that right there allowed the world to open up for me. Because I don't think I'm wrong often. I really truly don't, because I really look to a point of learning how to be better. But the adoption of I could be wrong allows me to really truly embrace what others have to say. And with that, it gave me the opportunity to focus more on learning and listening, because I believe you can learn from everyone's experience. Other people's experiences what taught me a lot in life. I realized I don't have to go through things in order to get the lesson that someone else has learned. If I watch someone touch a stove and I see that it's hot, I do not have to touch that same stove to see that it's hot. And from that, I got to a point of learning that you can be different. And in me understanding these things, I learned that not only can you be different, but you can decide on what different is to you. I hope that from this message that I give today, that it becomes a renaissance period in your life, that you can realize that it gives you the opportunity to not only think, but really reflect on who you are. And if you are okay with who you are. It's a judgment-free zone, but you get the opportunity to reflect and say, you know what, I'm not happy with who I am. I'm not okay with what I've been. And then for me, learning that took me to a point of saying, I realized that any given moment that I can be somebody different, I can do something different. And another thing, I can change who comes with me. I have the right to decide on who I want to bring in whatever season of life that I am in. And from that moment, my eyes was open. It was really like me sitting on top of a mountain and just looking down at the world itself, because I felt so high, but yet so low, at a point of like humble myself, but also in the way in which I now was introduced to myself. And before I go, I want to let you know a few different things. Not only can you change who you are, you can change where you are, and you can change whoever comes with you. I also need to let you guys know that the only limitations you will ever have in this life are the ones you place on yourself. The only limitations you will ever have in life is the ones that you place on yourself. And know that, one last note, give the benefit of the doubt. In doing so, it allows you to give grace. Because what I've learned is most people don't know how to communicate. They often don't know the right words to use, and things get misconstrued because of their lack of knowledge. So give grace, give the benefit of the doubt, and understand that you can learn from a fool. It may be what not to do, but it's a lesson learned nonetheless. Thank you.